Hello everyone, it is Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. Today we're going to be looking at a sort of Arceus BirdBox, Darkbox kind of amalgamation that got both top 4 and top 8 of the Salt Lake City Regional Championships. So clearly a very strong archetype. I'm playing a list that's one card different from Nick Moffat's list. And I've essentially just cut an air balloon for a scoop up net. I think that's a fairly easy change to make. Otherwise, I really think they got a lot right with the 60, and they've given themselves options into a number of matchups. This really is trying to take that powerful late game that we've seen with the Hooper Moltres deck by having the Shady Dealings engine allowing you to cherry pick cards like Clara to make a Malevolent Charge Fire Wrath combo very strong, easily being able to knock out Muse, obviously thanks to the type coverage, but also just in the late game in general, if you can force an odd prize trade, Fiery Wrath is just really good numbers into the majority of Pokemon, especially when you have quick shooting in the deck to try and push those numbers and get some chip damage in on higher hit points, 3 prize Pokemon, or even like Big Charmed Arceus, for example. So this is just a great late game win condition card in general, but is fantastic against Mew, of course, when we are mostly a one prize deck, especially the flow of this deck is going to like convert in the late game into a single prize deck where you leave no 2 prizes around, which is actually really interesting. So you sort of front load some pressure with the likes of Arceus. Sometimes you have some like Raihan shenanigan plays with your 2 one-of Galarian birds here, but then you can like Clara these 2 prizes back into your hand so they can't get Echoing Horned by a Mew, and then you just leave your board with Inteleon and these Moltres coming in and using that Fiery Wrath attack. So very dangerous deck actually, and is one of those things where your opponent has to keep on a swivel. They have to realize that you convert into a single prize deck in the late game, which is really nice. But instead of having that early game, like Hooper poking pressure, we have actual pressure in the form of Arceus with this Trinity Nova attack, as we know is very strong. We're playing a couple double turbo energies, and we're also playing Raihan, so we can get this out of nowhere if we have just suffered a KO, and it does give us the leeway to actually use Keep Calling if we're the player going second as well, so something to bear in mind. Very strong attacking option here. Starbirth, of course, a fantastic ability to just get our setup rolling, because as we know, that's a really big deal and a big factor as to why Arceus is so strong. It can get us the double turbos even though we're only playing 2 copies. It can get like a backup Arceus if you are going down that route in the matchup. It can get like one of these birds plus the Cape of Toughness, which I think a lot of people lauded over as a one-off tech include by both of these players to make a chunky Zapdos that can't be touched by an Arceus, or even a chunky Moltres to force lots of tablets out and give the opponent no easy gust option. Even in Arceus Mirror, you'll find yourself sometimes, if you don't want to go for the Zapdos immediately, if the opponent's playing around it, for example, you could cape up your second Arceus, just because it means that it's not another easy gust KO, and you're, forcing them to 2-shot both your Arceus, basically. And if you're just ahead in an Arceus race, you just get the first hit in. Sometimes you can win out there, especially with the Zapdos in here as well. So a lot of reasons why this cape is very strong. It can find its way into a lot of our 2 prizes, which is really nice. So yeah, very solid all round. Arceus just provides some real pressure, some damage output, and some extra consistency on top of that. So you have a ton of tutoring in the deck with the Starbirth, with the big Shady Dealings, as well as the Drizziles. So that's really what we're working to, trying to still bank on the 2 good type coverages in the game, with Dark still being obviously very relevant, and Zapdos coming in as an option to help out against Jolteon, as well as the Mirror, and even Gengar now. So yeah, it covers a lot of bases, just as this one-of that you can try and recycle with Clara in moments, and you have the Raihan as well. If you want to lean into the Zapdos even further, you could be playing Energy Switch, because you can Dire Flame Wings and attach to the Zapdos potentially. You also have the option to Raihan and attach Double Turbo. That will still be knocking out Arceus if they don't have Big Charm, and it will still be knocking out Jolteons as well. So even just using the Double Turbo as your turn attachment to Zapdos isn't that bad. So you don't need many Vs in play for it to be very powerful, and you could even play Echoing Horn if you wanted to in this deck for, again, more sort of prize control, and it again helps that Zapdos. And I could foresee people leading even further into the Zapdos package as we go through this format, because it does look like in order to combat Mew, there's going to be a ton of Arceus in all sorts of different forms, whether it's being paired with Dark Stuff, whether it's being paired like this with Inteleon, and you know, there's the straight Arceus deck as well, which is path-based. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see how Zapdos functions in general in this format. Outside of that, not too much to be said here. Manage your resources with your 2-of supporters and 1-of supporters. Definitely worth like prize checking these sorts of cards. I could foresee Palpad coming into the deck. Gives you some nice redundancy and protection against like bad prizing. So those are the things that I'd really like look to change in the deck, if anything. But ultimately, I think they've created a really good 60, apart from the balloon net, which I think is just an obvious change. In my opinion, I just think it's so good with dealing throughout the entire game. The 1-of Water Energy is also actually really nice. It's one of those things where you think, is it actually that worth it? But when you play Clara and you go into other 1-prize decks, Aqua Bullet's just really, really strong, to be honest. And you get yourself free attachments here and there because Arceus is powering up like other Arceus, for example. Then you have free manual attachments that can go towards this Inteleon, and you have Raihan, which can burst an Inteleon out of nowhere, and that little 20 damage poke is really annoying actually for like Rapid Strike Mallies, for example, where you can do some shenanigans, especially now with the double net. You can quick shooting, net, quick shooting, and Aqua Bullet. And it sounds like wacky combos, but you're always building this Inteleon engine throughout the entire game as like your priority, especially in a 1-prize matchup. So yeah, I think it could come off. So I think you actually have a lot of coverage in the format. There's a little bit of nerves around how thin of an Arceus line you're actually playing, but outside of that, I think it's a really well-constructed 60. So let's get some games in. Now, as a Dark Box player, like when you played Hooper Molt with Inteleon, you always chose to go second just because Keep Calling was busted. But I think, from what I saw on stream anyway, Ian and Nick were happy to go first, so we'll be choosing to go first, even though it's low odds to get the Arceus attachment. We're going to try and do it, because it seemed busted whenever they got it off, so... and it's not too bad for us. We are going second here, so I might still lead out the Sobble for the Keep Calling option. I can scout with Quick Ball to see if our Raihan is in deck. But actually a really good start. Getting both of our Arceus in our opening hand is crazy. And it looks like we are up against a Mew. So we are going to try an interesting prize race against Mew a lot of the time. We're going to attempt to put one Arceus down. And we're going to attempt to have the option to Galarian Moltres V Raihan KO all in one turn, which is super spicy. And we have, obviously, Fiery Wrath. So those are our options. Or we could forego the Moltres V plan. It's like, it's not a go-to every time. We could just try and go double Arceus here, try and get one established, and sort of formulate a game plan around that. So we'll see. Our opponent got rid of an early Echoing Horn, which is kind of nice. Like I said, the deck can play around Echoing Horn just by virtue of Clara, which is actually really important if you are playing against Mew. Even if you don't want those Vs in your hand, grab it alongside a Sobble, grab it alongside your baby Moltres, so that it can't be horned back into play for a lost condition. So the opponent has filled their board mighty nicely here. Got the early attachment of Double Turbo onto the Mew, they've got the early Belt, so it looks like they're setting themselves up nicely for probably a turn 2 boss KO play, right? So, we'll see. It's one of those things where you almost want to bait it in this instance, because we already know their hand is like, their start is so strong that we want them to boss KO the Arceus. We're probably going without a V-Star this game, but we can do this Raihan Moltres KO play, and it would be really strong for us. So, let's get rid of this Zapdos first of all. And our Moltres is in here. Our Raihan is in here. We have plenty of Dark Energy to try and make that happen. So it seems good to me. Seems good to me. Let's make a Sobble straight away. We'll be benching one Arceus. We have both of our Molts. We have both Clara and both Boss. We've prized all of our Marnies. But this is fine. The quick shooting really isn't all that useful in this matchup. It's only useful if they do like weird leap shenanigans into a Genesect like mid-game. So I'm considering thinning it with the Incense. Quick shooting definitely better in other matchups. We'll throw the Court out there and we'll just bin everything. We do hit Energy, we hit Molt. We don't have Drizzile for next turn, which is really bad for us. So I'm going to E-Search just to take more cards out of the deck. I still want some... Like, I've drawn so many Dark Energies here, actually. Let's just take a Water to get in the mix. But yeah, no Drizzile out is actually kind of yucky here. Big research whiff. I want the pivots out as well, honestly, so I think I'm still attaching to the Sobble. We'll just wiggle this bad boy. I probably should have taken the Moltres off the quick ball there. That was bad. I was not certain that I was attacking with Sobble there, but I still kind of want to. So they have an easy boss Arceus KO here with their VMAX. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to extend... Oh, that could actually be super helpful to us. That could save us. Saved? Maybe saved? You actually, like, low-key really want them to take the 2-prize KO here. Because we'll be going 4 prizes to 3 prizes, but then we'll have 2 more attacks in the game. And if they're both with Baby Moltres, you basically insta-win. Because they have nothing that can tank. So yeah, they're doing everything right, but it does play into this Direflame Wings right-hand play. We don't have it on lock, unfortunately, but... Yeah, I should have a Baby Molt in my hand right now, which is going to be a problem for us, but we can work towards this. As long as I hit a Drizzile, we should be chilling. Alright, so they've done what we expected. Rope is actively the worst draw in the deck, because it doesn't let us Rose Tower. Huh. Take the 1 prize with the Molt. Go down. They go down to 2. We can still win. It just loses to leap plays from the opponent at that stage. But I don't have another option. We're going to get the energy in the discard pile, then we're going to rope. Not what you're after. Alright. Big whiff. Big whiff. I could have drawn an extra card if I was playing the Baby Molt, right? Because I could have got that Dark Energy out of my hand. Drawn an extra one off tower, but that was by virtue of them towering us anyway, right? If everything goes well there, we only need 1 Shady deal to make that happen, right? We do our 1 deal, we KO with the Molt, we go down 4 to 3. Oh, sorry, yeah, they have 2 remaining, we have 4 remaining. And then we just attack twice with... Because we had Big Shady in hand as well. We just make Clara and Baby Bird 2 times in a row, and you don't lose ever from that spot. But when you don't have the deal, which is the lifeblood of the deck, you're going to struggle. So I see a Crobat, makes me think it's likely just going to be a Arceus Mirror here. Going first in Arceus Mirror is obviously crazy. We're already holding a Court in hand, which is phenomenal. So we're not going to get blocked here by Path, Cheese. So an attach pass looks pretty good. Well set for next turn with a Starbirth. And we'll see what the opponent has in store. Oh boy. Well, that's tricky for sure. With no Zigzagoon in the list, you can't KO 220 hit point Pokemon turn 2. It's just not in your repertoire. Which is very scary, obviously. I'm going to pull an energy out here. So I think I want to Starbirth for Rope Drizzile. Get the Rope. Deal net. And just hit him. And power up probably Zapdos. Oh, I need to get the double turbo in the mix. So I go double turbo, Drizz. I don't even need the Drizz because I've got Ultra Ball, right? Let's just get rid of Court energy. Get our Drizzile. Get our Rope. So, big research, we think, and then just dig for the Zapdos. I think I'm allowed to rebench one Sobble. Oh, yikes. Yikes. Well, at least it's in the active position. So we'd have to be doing some pivot shenanigans to actually ruin us here. That research could have been better, though. They can remain active and just 100 Furious Blows this turn. Which is also really bad for us. Okay. Best play here probably involves us making a guy. Just don't really know what we're doing this turn. I can't even right hand water drip. Would love to have done that. This really is a long shot Marnie now. Feels so bad. Oh, actually hit it? Insane. Never doubted. I'd also love to have ballooned there, but we just have nothing else in the hand, right? So I don't want to give him the free attachment, but I do want to start accumulating these energies. Tricky one. Let's just kick him. We are miles behind here, though. Who knows? Their board isn't super well developed, so maybe we can get the a punish play going on here. They do have Luminous Sign, so they can at least research here. Research definitely better for us than a Raihan there. They could have Raihan attached and VMAXed. As it is, they're coming in with their big Urshifu here. They're actually playing Eevee, so maybe they're playing Jolteon Memory Capsule. Doesn't really make much sense to play Jolteon Memory Capsule in an Urshifu deck, because you want them to put the Drizziles into play. And like Jolteon doesn't help your bad matchup, which is Mew, right? So you're just sacking Mew? Have we really got to the point in the meta where Mew is the best thing to sack? I don't think so. Anyway, we're going to be able to at least strip an energy off here. So I'm not seeing a way that they can... So I'm kind of worried about this Jolt, right? It makes me making a Sobble here really bad. So I might just have to go this to hold Bird in hand. Small Bird. And start getting some court value. If I proactively put down the Moltres, it's not bad, right? I get to Clara now. Just means I can't Clara Bird twice in a row. So I guess I'm just kicking. Alright, just gonna see E-Search. I'd be terrified if they grab a Dark Energy out now and put down a Baby Moltres and try and E-switch Rapid Flow for game. Kind of what I'm most scared of. Losing on the spot. But they'd have to do it all with... okay, so it looks like they're just going to Gale Thrust, probably. It's kind of fine. Oh, the Peony! Hello. They got rid of another Rapid Strike Energy. That's 3 down? Oh. They can get their big barrel going. Okay, so now they can make their next Urshifu, I guess. Yep. So their play is to beat us with Raihan, right? So our play has to be to bench this guy. Just do the 1 and the attach. It's a little hopeful from us, but it means we don't lose immediately to a Raihan. We'd have to top deck Boss to win, which is really low odds. But it's our best odds. It's our best play. They already had the last Rapid Strike Energy in hand. They're going to Crobat. If he just Gale Thrusts, I can Clara back the Zapdos and just remove the energy from him again. And then what does he do? I think he just loses, right? Zapdos putting in work. So Rope is kind of sus. Oh, they've missed out on a bit barrel draw? Whoops. Okay. Peepo Strafe. Peepo Strafe is brilliant for us. I think it just means we win on the spots, right? They have no more Rapid Strike energies. So we can make our Sobble. I'm allowed to Clara now for more Sobble. I'm allowed to do this. And outside of something crazy, I think we can't lose. Oh, I guess he can lock me out of dealings, right? So our hand is actually dead as long as they make the Jolteon here. Like, we won't be able to guarantee a boss. Yo, they play Batmax. No. Batmax. Rose! Didn't play around the Rose. Why did they... Yeah. So they were missing VMAX to beat us? Rosefu. Who needs Raihanfu when you can Rosefu? Right, to the drawing board. Wait, is that bust? Was basic energy Urshi Rose Bidiff all along? Bit barrel Rose. I'm learning so much today. That was a strange game. But Zapdos was insane. Glad he was there. Alright, let's get one more in. So far, a bad beat against Mew because we just didn't draw into a deal option. And a win against Urshi, which is good news, right? You just have to play a bit weird. We had a really fortunate Marnie that game as well. Oh. Really? 2? I have to face 2 of these? I blame Tord. Definitely his fault. So rigged. We don't even have our Zapdos. Ah. Damn it. Damn it, Tord. Let's see how this player's decided to copium and Urshifu into their list. Ah, yes, Path, of course. You just brick Mew. You're basically just Jolteon, but fighting. Don't have to play Mew if you brick them. Okay, Strafe. Stayed active like a true alpha. Right. What am I to do? Like, literally, what do I do? This is one issue of playing one of Pokemon. I don't even know what to power up this entire game. If I played a Hooper right back now, I'd have a turn. I could do like a rope KO play with the Hooper. It'd be really good. But as it stands, we got nothing. We got nothing left. Let's try and make an Arceus survive an attack. Oops. Let's try and get at least one Inteleon develop this game. Could begin making the molt if I wanted to. Gives him a better 120 than just taking a 1-prizer out, I guess. So I kind of have to just wait, just chill. Okay. Let's just chill. So the thing you don't want to see here is boss. They'd have to have a very particular hand to be able to boss. They'd need VMAX boss in hand. Don't do it. Okay, they don't need VMAX. But it would be scarier if it was a VMAX just detonating us here. Okay. Well, the good news is we can deal. Ooh, have I got a deal for you? Right. Can I get the KO this turn? Deal for Raihan Belt and go discard Raihan ability. Yeah, okay, nice. It's actually going to work out great. I have the net as well, so let's do like this. Alright, let's make our guy big and strong. I think I just want the arc back, honestly. I want the option to Starbirth still and keep the pressure on. Like, if I can pressurize a Starbirth next turn, I can pressurize, like, boss and all sorts. But I guess it's too many easy prizes for him. Maybe I'm just deal central. Deals everywhere. Nothing but deals from me. Or I can just get the water energy in the mix as well. I could balloon rather than net. Or evolve rather than net. I think keeping this as a attacking option is worthwhile, so we'll do it this way round. Net this guy. Proactive big dealing is really bad, but he can't really do much next turn, can he? Like, maybe he could right-hand Moltres us back, perhaps. I'm just going to grab this, I think. No, it doesn't make much sense. I like the boss. Let's just let him know that we are planning to boss next turn. Let him know that this bird must be respected and dealt with, so he doesn't touch our Drizziles. Right, Zapdos is not a bad pull off of those prizes. So everyone really is out here trying to make Urshifu the scissors to this rock paper of Mew and Arceus, right? He's trying to shoehorn himself in as those spicy scissors. So is our opponent gonna mirror match us, where they just make their own right-hand Moltres play here? Quick Ball Marnie. So no is the answer. Are they going to try and hit us with Little Bird? No, they're making the Foo. Path us again. The boss sure scared them. Sure did the trick there. That's just game, right? Come here. Huh. Turns out Urshifu doesn't have Starbirth text written on it. So it has much more brick potential than our deck, which does have Starbirth text written on it. Fascinating. They're just straight back into the Marnie. It's time for another Urshi, I guess. Yep. Interesting. So they get off lightly by us not having a deal here just to win. We do have a few plays we can try and make. We can try and make a big Shady here, like retreat and look for Training Court and attack that way and start getting damage on his guy. I think that's probably our best move. We don't need this. So I think it's going to be a research play. We do hit Big Deal and Quick Shooter, which is really good news. Let's get that water in the discard pile. Let's get our bullets ready. Let's do this. We want the Dark Energy in the discard pile for Baby Bird. We want to start pinging the guy. Yeah, let's just do this. Yeah, we basically just outdrew them. Even without our Zapdos, which was so clutch. So man, we beat 2 Urshis? What the heck? Okay, well, turns out you actually have a favored Urshifu and a bad Mew. That's the takeaway. But yeah, hopefully I spoke well about how you're trying to win that Mew matchup, right? It just so happened that we missed like 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, well, I guess 12 outs to try and like do the thing with our right hand play. Because if you like play it back in your head, you go, if I don't have to play that rope, right, and I just have a Shady Deal there, I can retreat, right hand, Direflame Wings, attach, take the 3, and then I've already built up a Drizzile for then the Shady Dealing that was already in my hand to then just be grabbing like Quick Ball Clara and just use this over the next 2 turns to like close out the game on anything, right? The only thing that would scare me at that point is we take our 3, they go down to 2 because they respond on this, they have to knock this out. then we go down theoretically to ourselves, because they always attack with Meloetta the following turn, if everything goes correctly. Or they leap into Meloetta, one of those two things. So then the only problem would be if they then leapt again into another one prize Pokemon. So they would force us to have Rope plus Clara, or they would force us to have enough energy in hand with like Training Court and whatnot, as well as Boss. So it's like one of those two combinations that we would have required had we had one Shady dealing. But we'd have drawn, by that time, 4 prizes and 2 additional cards. And at any point, I could have, like, found spaces to deal for more deals. So really, it was just like a big research whiff, which kind of happens. But yeah, you really have to manage your bench carefully against Mew, because obviously we're not denying their draw. So you have to expect them doing the best things every single turn. But you can still just physically brute force your way through that prize race, thanks to the option of this Raihan play. But yeah, that's the deck. Let me know what you guys think about it. How are you going to be changing it going forward? We didn't see much of the cape in action today. It was the belt that was coming in clutch, but we were up against some Urshis. So yeah, I'll hear your thoughts down below, and I will see you in another video tomorrow. Cheers.